This is Garis, Masculist, MGTOW flyers, that is 2-3 page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 560, entitled A Proposed Masculist Anti-Divorce Rape Flash Mob Action. Description. Sylvester Stallone, the US actor, is divorcing after a marriage of 25 years. His fluffy, manslaving, parasite divorcing wife wants at least half of his wealth that he earned with his talent, with his energy and effort. Masculists have a hatred of fluffy, manslaving, divorce-raping women and aim to exterminate them by forcing them into a slow, miserable death by being totally ignored by men, not even pumped and dumped, so that their manslaving parasite genes are removed from the gene pool. This flyer proposes a masculist anti-divorce rape flash mob action that will video the divorcing wife being doused with blood and yelled at with masculist hatred by 3 masculists holding placards with masculist slogans. The video will then be given hefty publicity, similar to the way the British feminists in 1970 flower-bombed the Miss World pageant and obtained worldwide publicity for the feminist cause. Now the flyer itself. A proposed masculist anti-divorce rape flash mob action by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Sylvester Stallone, the American actor, is getting divorced after a 25-year marriage, and his fluffy parasite ex-wife is demanding half or more of his wealth. Masculists have a hatred of such women who feel they have the right to fleece a man of his wealth that he generated with his talent and his effort. Masculists aim to destroy such women by changing social values and laws so that this form of hateable female parasitism is wiped out. This flyer proposes a concrete masculist flash mob action to create publicity against this form of hated, fluffy, manslaving parasitism on the part of women. To make a historical analogy, consider the British feminist publicity stunt that flower-bombed the Miss World pageant in 1970. That brought the feminist movement huge publicity around the world, focusing attention on the idea that feminists did not like the world seeing women as sex objects and not as human beings. The publicity was enormous. Now that masculism has more or less concretized its ideology, that is, it has been through its initial consciousness-raising stage, the time is now ripe for political actions that bring huge publicity for the masculist cause. This flyer proposes such a concrete action that hopefully will generate a lot of media interest and cause millions of people to think about what the masculists are pushing for. The concrete masculist proposal goes as follows. The core idea of masculism is that it is a rebellion by men against being man-slaves to women, working for women for decades of a man's life. Masculists put enormous moral pressure on women to get off their fat, parasitic asses and fip up, or are severely punished by men by not getting one. Masculists point the finger at women, saying that men have given women a life expectancy of 85 years and a career window of half a century. So women now must work or be utterly rejected by men, forced to rot on a shelf thus effectively exterminating them as fluffy, manslaving, divorce-raping, parasitic vermin to be wiped out. On a regular basis, celebrity divorces occur in Hollywood, in which some nobody female takes half the wealth of some famous male actor, simply because she gave her cunt to him in the past. Masculists have a real hatred of such women and aim to wipe out this practice, treating it as a massive gender crime against men, and putting tremendous moral pressure against women who do this to men. So here is the proposal. A local Masculist flash mob is formed and organised by some local Masculist who is able to locate the whereabouts, in brackets, Florida, question mark, California, question mark, of the divorcing wife of Sylvester Stallone, in brackets, that is Jennifer Flavin, that's Flavin, so that she can be doused in blood and videoed with a Masculist flash mob who hold placards with Masculist slogans. The whole incident could take place in a matter of seconds and then disperse quickly. The proposal is that this Masculist flash mob would consist of 3 placard-holding Masculists, plus 1 to video the event and 1 to throw the blood over Jennifer Flavin, that is 5 Masculists in total. The 3 placard-holding Masculists could simultaneously hurl abuse at the fluffy, manslaving, divorce-raping vermin wife, Jennifer Flavin, by shouting their placard slogans at her with real Masculist anger and hatred. I suggest that the 3 slogans on the placards be the following. 1. Gender criminal! 2. Divorce rapist! 3. Manslaving vermin! Once the event has been videoed, then the video should be put up on manosphere sites and sent to news distribution services, etc., to maximise publicity. Hopefully it will go viral and generate huge publicity for the Masculist cause, showing that men are fed up with being manslaves to women, and that women have a powerful moral obligation to get off their fat parasitic asses and fib up, so that they don't manslave a man, expecting, fluffy style, to live off the money and labour of a man, a form of gender political criminality that makes Masculists have a burning hatred of such women. To Masculists, manslavery is a war issue, and Masculists are at war against fluffies, aiming to wipe them out. Masculists spit at fluffies, utterly rejecting them, forcing them to rot on the shelf, treating them as the gender political vermin that they are. With the 3 placard holders hurling verbal abuse and hatred at her, the video should express clearly the hatred that Masculists feel towards fluffy manslavers, whom the Masculists want removed from the face of the earth. Hopefully, this video will send a clear message to young women that if they don't fib up, then they will not get a man. They will be spat at by men and utterly rejected, both socially and sexually, causing perhaps millions of them to suicide, since being manless, they will be loveless, sexless, babyless, and alone. The whole point of this Masculist flash mob action is to make women a lot more conscious that Masculists do not tolerate manslavery and aim to kill manslavers slowly by totally ignoring them, not even pumping and dumping them, so that fluffy manslaving parasites die a slow, miserable death, rotting on the shelf over decades of their manless, lonely lives. If the first such Masculist flash mob action is a big success, then of course many other such actions could follow to continue the Masculist publicity and Masculist consciousness raising in the general public. It's time that Masculists moved on from the initial consciousness-raising stage into the political action stage, so that society is changed, so that new Masculist laws are passed. For example, the legislation of the that's paternity rejection right, the OPTAB, O-P-T-A-B, that's obligatory paternity testing at birth for all births to block paternity fraud, that the divorce courts are reformed and based on the principle of financial independence of both divorcing parties, so that men are not butchered at a rate of one father in 4 in the hated fluffy feminist hypocrite genocider dominated divorce court system, that GECs, gender equality committees, are set up that consist half of feminists and half of Masculists, so that the gender issues of both sexes are dealt with equally, which is certainly not the case today. This proposed Masculist anti-divorce rape flash mob action is just the first of many such actions that will be needed to change society, to cause it to become a lot more bi-conscious, that is, to raise both one's feminist and one's Masculist consciousnesses, so that society learns that gender oppression is very much a two-way street, and that in fact women oppress men worse, since many of women's gender crimes against men last decades, which makes them much more serious than the relatively minor ways that men oppress women. For example, women's manslavery, women's divorce rape, women's forced fathering. Each of these big 3 ways that women oppress men are massive gender crimes that need to be eradicated from society. This proposed Masculist anti-divorce rape flash mob action is but the first step in a long bi-consciousing process of society. If some Californian or Floridian Masculist goes ahead with executing this proposal, then please contact me after the event and the release of the video so that I can help publicize it too. Good luck. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Author of the book Masculism, Men's Rebellion Against Being Man-Slaves to Women, an e-textbook of 560 plus Masculist flyers for men's studies courses, freely downloadable in Microsoft Word format from my website. Ciao.